Matthew chapter number 5, verse number 20. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. Let's come over here to our treasury of scriptures, Matthew 23rd chapter, verse 2 through 5, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. All, therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do, but do not ye after their works. For they say and do not, for they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulder, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments. Jesus, or Yeshua, was explaining about the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. He stated here, he said that your righteousness must exceed their righteousness, otherwise you cannot enter into the kingdom of heaven. Well, two questions pop into mind. What is righteousness? Well, righteousness is that which is morally correct, that which is right, that which is good according to the law. And then goes on to what is the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. And we can find over here in the 23rd chapter of Matthew, Jesus said they did a lot of righteous works, but they did all of their righteous works just to be seen of men. In other words, they didn't do things for the love of God or the love of man. They did things to be seen of man and to brag to man. They didn't help individuals because they loved them. They helped individuals so that they can, look what I did, spirit. One scripture talks about how whenever they gave, they would sound a trumpet and they would make known what they did, because they wanted all men to see how good they were, instead of giving to God because God, I love you, and God, I thank you for blessing me. Therefore, I'm taking part of it and giving it back to you, Father. You see, they missed it, and it's in the law, it's in the commandments, it's in the Torah, but they missed it. In fact, they quote it all the time when you read the scriptures. Because remember, the question was posed to Messiah, what's the greatest commandment of all? And he quoted the Shema. Hear, therefore, Israel, the Lord thy God is one God, and thou shalt love him with all of thy heart and all of thy mind and all of thy soul and all of thy strength, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Jesus clearly explained to them that love was the basis for the law. Love was the basis for serving God. God wants us to fall in love with him. And if you love someone, you would do something. Love is an action word. You don't love someone and don't do anything. And that's what Christ was trying to relate. The scribes and Pharisees didn't love God. They didn't love man. They loved praise. They loved selfishness, but they didn't love the Father. And that's why he said, except your righteousness exceed their righteousness. In other words, you cannot do things just to be seen. You do things because you love God and you love his commandments and you love his people. That's the reason why you do. That's the reason why you help the poor. That's the reason why you help the widows and the orphans and the fatherless. That's the reason why you give your tithes and offerings. That's the reason why you obey the commandments. God, we bless you and we praise you and ask that you have your way. Be glorified and be magnified.